Welcome to this explainer. I am super excited you're here today because we're about to unlock the secret codes of musical instruments. If you're prepping for your upcoming music exams, like the OL or grade 10 syllabus, you are in the exact right place. We're going to take what is normally a super confusing, head-scratching topic and turn it into a perfectly organized cheat sheet. Sound good? Let's get into it. So, let's kick things off with a massive musical mystery that trips up students literally every single year. Picture this. You sit down with a piece of sheet music, you play a C, but the note that actually fills the room? Definitely not a C. Why in the world does that happen? To solve that mystery, here's our roadmap for today. First, what is a transposing instrument? Then, we'll hit the B-flat family, the E-flat family, F and A instruments, octave transpositions, and finally, wrap it up with the essential rules you need for your exams.
All right, section 1, what is a transposing instrument? Let's start with the foundational cipher you absolutely need to memorize. The most crucial thing to grasp here is that for these specific instruments, the sheet music is essentially written in a secret code that shifts the actual sound. It's not like a piano, right? On a piano, you press a C, you get a C. But these instruments have a built-in offset. What you see is quite literally not what you get. Now, the ultimate anchor point for everything we're about to cover revolves around one simple magic question. What does a written C sound like? Seriously, this is your decoder ring. If you can just remember what a written C transforms into for each instrument, you can instantly crack any transposition question they throw at you on test day.
Moving on to section 2, the B-flat family. This is where everything drops down a step.
If you only remember one number to decode the B-flat family, make sure it's a 2. Why? Well, because the vast majority of these instruments are going to sound exactly a major second lower than what's written on the page. Let's look at the specifics. Let's say you see a written C for a B-flat clarinet or trumpet. It actually sounds as a concert B-flat just below it. And hey, this is exactly what your grade 10 notes emphasize. Now, for that top group, the soprano sax, cornet, flugelhorn, they all share that exact same rule. They just drop a major second. But actually, pay close attention to the bass clarinet and the tenor sax. They still sound a B-flat, but they drop an entire octave plus a major second, making it a major ninth lower. Just visualize that massive leap down for a second, a whole octave plus one more step, landing on that deep, rumbling B-flat.
Okay, section 3, the E-flat family, featuring the saxophone favorites, which, by the way, are an absolute staple in past exam papers. This perfectly illustrates the crazy extremes you can find within a single musical family. It's actually wild. While the E-flat clarinet shifts the pitch up by a minor third to produce this really high, piercing E-flat, the baritone sax drags the pitch way, way down into the basement, sounding a major 13th lower. To put that into perspective, that is more than an entire octave below the written C.
Notice how this logic builds across the rest of the E-flat family. Just keep in mind that for every instrument here, a written C will always sound as some form of E-flat. The alto sax, E-flat alto horn, E-flat tenor horn, they all sound an E-flat below the written C. For the alto sax, that translates to a major sixth lower. So, no matter which of these instruments you get on an exam, your written C anchor instantly points you toward an E-flat. You just got to remember which octave you're in.
Right, section 4, F and A instruments. Get ready for perfect fifths and minor thirds. Take a look at how incredibly uniform the F family is here. Whether it's the French horn or the English horn, which, side note, is often called the cor anglais in your OL syllabus, a written C normally sounds as an F, a perfect fifth below. And this applies right down to the basset horn and the treble recorder. It's a really predictable, stable block of instruments. But then we have the A clarinet. Following our golden rule, a written C on the A clarinet sounds as an A below, which is exactly a minor third lower. Section 5, octave transpositions. Let's look at a really tricky category where instruments technically play in the key of C, but still manage to trick the ear. But first, a quick moment of relief. Before we do any octave math, let's appreciate the honest instruments of the orchestra. If you play the flute, oboe, bassoon, piano, violin, viola, cello, trombone, or tuba, you can breathe easy. These instruments normally play exactly at concert pitch with zero transposing math required. A written C is a sounding C right where you'd expect it. However, it's pretty interesting that an instrument in C can still be transposing if it shifts by an octave. For example, the piccolo, Xylophone, celesta, and descant or bass recorders all read a C, but sound one full octave higher. And if you really want to cut through an orchestra, the glockenspiel can even sound 2 octaves higher. On the flip side, we have the heavy hitters, the double bassoon, double bass guitars, acoustic guitars, even the male tenor voice. They all sound a written C exactly 1 octave lower than it appears on the staff. These octave shifters keep the letter name the same, but they dramatically alter the frequency you actually hear. And finally, Section 6, Essential Rules for Exams. Let's bring all this amazing data together into a highly focused cheat sheet for your OL exams. Okay, I highly recommend grabbing a screenshot right now, because this directly covers every single specific interval called out in the syllabus. Let's lock them in. B-flat clarinet or trumpet, major second lower. The A clarinet, minor third lower. E-flat clarinet, minor third higher. Alto sax, major sixth lower. Tenor sax, major ninth lower. French or English horn, perfect fifth lower. And of course your octave shifters. Piccolo is 1 octave up, while the double bassoon and double bass are 1 octave down. Memorize these specific pairs and you'll ace this section without even breaking a sweat. To synthesize everything we've covered today, the absolute easiest hat to take away is this. The name of the instrument's key tells you exactly what a written C is going to sound like. A B-flat instrument will sound a B-flat. An E-flat instrument sounds an E-flat. You get the idea. Just make sure to pay special attention to the clarinet, trumpet, and saxophones, because the syllabus and past papers absolutely love to test those specific relationships. So, now that you deeply understand the taxonomy of these instruments, I want to leave you with a final puzzle to test out your new code-breaking skills. Imagine this scenario. If a composer invented a completely brand new transposing instrument tomorrow, and they decided it was going to be in the key of G. Applying everything we just learned, what exact note would fill the room if the musician played a written C? Think about our golden rule. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Happy studying and keep cracking those musical codes.